Connie Keene here with Quantum Energy Infusion, where everything is energy. Module 4, find your flow. We get to find the flow of the meridians in your body. Thanks to the Chinese, we've known for over 5,000 years that we have this qi that goes through our body in a very predictable way. In English, we call them meridians, and these meridians flow through our body. There are 12 of them, and they are connected one to the next, to the next, to the next in this beautiful Amazon river, Amazon-like length river of energy that goes all the way through our body. So this flow of qi is life-giving, life-sustaining, life-balancing. And when this flow of qi gets blocked, it's kind of like when there's an accident on an interstate, the energy stops, the traffic flow doesn't get to happen. Or maybe you're just down to one lane of traffic, right? And the flow is not what you want it to be. So there are ways that we can encourage our meridians to continue to flow in the right direction because they can get reversed. Remember psychological reversal that we talked about in Module 3? Well, in Module 4, your daily exercise is CPR, correct psychological reversal, because by doing that, we're giving your meridians a kickstart to go in the right direction. Where we tap here on the end of the governing vessel, we tap here on the end of the central vessel, and we go back to what we call the psychological reversal spot. This is actually the small intestine meridian. And if you do that and breathe it in, whoo, my guess is you feel different than you did 15 seconds ago, right before you did that. That's one way to help the flow of the meridians, to kind of wake them up. Another way, one of my favorites, is to tap on K27. Right, you learned this one in the 4 thumps and you use it for tapping. Kidney 27 is the ending point, the sing point of the kidney meridian that ends right here under your collarbone on either side of your sternum. Well, the kidney meridian is the first of the series that you're connected with Mother Earth. And on the bottom of your foot, there is a spot called the wellspring of life. The wellspring of life is where the energy, the yin energy from the Mother Earth, comes up into your body, up this kidney meridian, this beautiful flow of energy. And the kidney meridian ends here. Then the next one goes out, they're out, and the pericardium comes from here. It's another yin, and it goes out, and the triple warmer comes up. It's a yang, and it ends here, and round we go. The meridians connect one to the other. There's 2 yins, and then 2 yangs, and 2 yins, and 2 yangs. And they have this beautiful dance and flow and connection that brings life to our body. And our spirit too. This does work at all levels. So this wellspring of life on the bottom of your foot is the beginning of the kidney meridian, which is also the beginning of the whole series and flow throughout your body. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back up, and you can't see my full body, but you can get the idea. And for our purposes here for beta, this is what we're working with. And on the bottom of your foot, between toes 2 and 3, just below the ball of your foot, if you push there, give it a good push, because I bet you're going to find it because it's going to be tender. Mine is, and I work with my energy and I work to keep my pathways open. And that wellspring of life on the bottom of my foot is tender. That means it's congested. So sometimes when you're sitting down, you get and crossing your leg, and if you're watching TV or whatever you're doing, you get to rub that spot on the bottom of your foot and the corresponding one on the other foot, because the meridians run equally mirrored all the way up our body. So that kidney meridian, you're going to rub that beginning spot at the bottom. And to trace that meridian and help it move up your body, very simply, you touch at the bottom of your foot. I'm sorry you can't see this, but just trust me, you're going to come straight up. So you touch at the bottom of your foot, you come up the inside of your leg behind the ankle, You make a little circle and you come right up the inside of your leg. You're going to come right up past your belly button on either side of your sternum and end it here at K27. And I like to give mine a tap when I'm done tracing. So you're going to start at the bottom of your foot. You're going to come up like as if it were between toes 2 and 3. You're going to come up behind that ankle and do a curl and come all the way up, straight up on either side of your belly button, either side of your sternum, till you hit that spot, K27. Woo! I'm getting a rush right up my abdomen of energy as we do that. It's great to trace your meridians. It really does encourage the flow, and especially the kidney meridian, since that's the first one and it jump starts everything else and gets the energy pushed through there, continuing into the other ones. I want to talk about another yin meridian. Kidney is a yin meridian. We're going to talk about 3 yin meridians today. Why are we doing that? Because the yin energy, in my experience, runs low on a lot of people, especially women. So the yin is the feminine, it's the receiving, it's the intuitive, it's what goes deep. And this yin energy we receive up from the Mother Earth, her healing, nurturing yin energy. And the 3 meridians that I have chosen especially strengthen a woman's energy, because we so often give from our yang side that we're not receiving from our yin side. And in my work with women, and especially with auras, it no longer surprises me that I find out that the yin aura is depleted on women much more so than on men. And her yang aura may extend out, well, as far as my arm will go, and the yin aura may only come about this far. It's anywhere from 1/3 to 1/2 the size of her aura on the yang side. So that's another indicator to let us know how important it is to reinforce yin energies. So what I just taught you with the kidney meridian brought that yin energy up. The next one is going to be the spleen meridian. Now the spleen meridian is really important because it metabolizes what our body needs. It metabolizes emotions, metabolizes food, it metabolizes thoughts, it metabolizes experiences. So this spleen meridian is really important for us. Now, it begins on the big toe on the inside. So when you got your toenail on the big toe, it literally happens at the corner of the toenail on the inside of your big toes. So we're going to reach down and tap those toenails and come right up the inside of our legs. So you just trust me, I'm touching the inside of my big toenail. Tap, tap, tap. I'm coming up my foot. I'm coming up my legs. Notice I'm still on the inside of the kneecap. The kidney one runs deeper inside than this one. I'm coming up, and then when I get to my hips, I'm going to flare out. My hip bones are under my hands. So when I get up to my hips, I'm going to flare out. And then that continues up just outside of the nipples. Spleen 20 is here, and the ending point, spleen 21, is underneath the arm. You know this, you learned it last week, and you've been doing it daily in the 4 thumbs, spleen 21, and we get to end there. So remember, it begins, and really tap that toenail, really tap the edge of the toenail, that big toenail, tap, tap, tap. I'm coming up the inside of my foot here, in front of the ankle bone, on the inside of my legs. I get to my hips, I flare out on the outside of the nipples to spleen 20, and then whoop down to spleen 21. And I like to do it 3 times, tap, 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 up the inside of my foot, the inside of my leg, flare out at the hips, to spleen 20. I like to give that a rub, down to spleen 21 and tap it. So we want our spleen to be strong and metabolizing all of the experiences, foods, and energies and emotions that come into our life. The 3rd yin meridian that starts at the foot is the liver meridian. Well, the liver processes just about everything. And I know you know that. And the liver is overtaxed, overworked, and underappreciated. And I'm just going to say that period. That's a fact. So the liver meridian begins on the big toe on the outside of the toenail. So you get to tap, tap, tap there on the liver meridian on the outside of the big toenail. And again, you're going to come up your foot, up the inside, and then it's going to end. I'll show you where it ends. So we tap on the outside of the toenail, come across the foot, still up the inside, and it comes up and it ends here. It ends in this band right underneath the breast, or right if you're a woman, and right underneath the nipples there if you're a man. And it goes across, and you know what? I rub it. So yeah, could I tap along there? I could. Absolutely, I could do that. I really like to rub this whole area though. So let's do the liver again. Tap, 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 the outside of the toenail, up the foot, up the inside of the leg, and it flares out and comes across, back in, out here and back in. That's why, and you know, see, I'm using like my fist to go in there and rub around. Third time, tap, 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 outside of the toe, up, inside of the leg, flaring out and over here. Ooh, that really feels good. So those are 3 yin, very important yin meridians. And I encourage you to trace those. That's called tracing your meridian. I encourage you to become familiar with those energies and trace them. Now, why would we trace a meridian? Well, we do have an electromagnetic field in our hands. You know, we've already talked about this with central vessel release and how we can use that. And yes, a meridian is a river of energy, and it's not very big, right? However, we are using the palm of our hand. We're gonna get it covered and we're gonna find it. So as we tap on that tsing point, which is the beginning point and the end point of any meridian. So as you tap on that tsing point of the spleen meridian and come up, it doesn't matter if you're exactly in the right place. There's 3 meridians that come up the inside of the leg. The liver, the kidney, and the spleen. Well, hey, you know what? If you tap the tsing point, there's your intention. That meridian just woke up and paid attention and is responding to the electromagnetic field that you are pulling up your body, and the energy is going with it. So I invite you to trace your spleen. And I often do. I usually engage my spleen meridian several times a day. I want to say maybe every other hour. I mean, I either think about rubbing my kidney point or the spleen 20 that's right here, or tapping spleen 21. If I sit and watch TV, sometimes I squeeze my toes together, because there's the tsing points there. There's 3 beginning points and 3 ending points of meridians on the foot, on the toes alone. Or rubbing that spot, that wellspring of life on the bottom of your foot. You can sit and do that while you're watching TV. And if it's tender at all, that means it's congested and it wants to open up. Any kind of rubbing and attention you can give to that spot will benefit you. And the other way that you can encourage that flow of the yin energy up your kidney meridian is to stand outside barefoot. So if you can get out in the grass and you can spread your toes and you can engage the sole of your foot and have the intention of bringing that yin energy up in your body, that will benefit you so much. And tracing those meridians will benefit you so much barefoot on the ground. All of us need more yin energy. Now, is that all the meridians? Nope. These are the ones, though, that we're going to cover in Quantum Energy Infusion Level 1. And these are the ones that I think are most important for us to live well in today's society, and especially women. This really benefits us to enhance the flow in of the yin energy in our body. And it's really beautiful the way that the meridians are set up, because there's yin meridians and yang meridians. And the yin meridians come up the inside and the front of the body and the inside of the arms. So they come up the inside, the front of the body. And then, for example, the pericardium comes out the inside of the arm. And the yang meridians come up the outside of the arm and down the back of the body. The yang meridians do. And then you connect up to another yin that comes up. Let's say we've come up the kidney, and then we're going to go from the pericardium out on the inside, then the triple warmer on the way up. So they're all connected in this beautiful sequence. And there's actually a flow chart in your pages this week that you can download. And you will notice that there is a direction that these energies move in, and that there is a time of day where each one peaks for 2 hours and each one wanes for 2 hours. So there are corresponding meridians across the chart where one is at its peak and the other is at its resting point, its most resting point. And there are also pairs of meridians as they happen in the Chinese in the 5 elements. So for example, there's a yin and yang pair that are metal, and there's a yin and yang pair that are earth. So there's a lot of information on this particular chart, and they do come in pairs, and they come, which are the yin and yang, and then they come corresponding as well as they appear to each other across the chart. We'll go into more about the meridians in level 2. Right now, with this understanding, and then the basic element is, for example, because the energy flows in this way, the stomach energy, the river of energy from the stomach meridian feeds the spleen meridian, and the spleen feeds the heart feeds the small intestine, which feeds the bladder, and on around. So there's this beautiful symphony happening in your body all the time. And as we bring more awareness to this, we can help it function at peak, right? Let's be in optimal performance because we can. Because as we raise our energetic awareness and we become aware of when we're high energy and when we're low energy, there's different times of the day these meridians could be peaking, ebbing, and flowing. That can give you information. Wow, let's just say if all of a sudden it's 10 o'clock in the morning and I'm feeling an energy drop, like maybe, wow, I wonder if I want to go get a cup of coffee or something. Let's look here. Between 9 and 11, I'm in the peak time of my spleen meridian. So if I have an energy drop, I'm not going to go get a cup of coffee. I'm going to trace my spleen meridian. And if you want, you can even learn how to flush a meridian. These meridians are very easy to flush because they're pretty much straight lines. So let's say I want the full bang for my buck and I'm going to flush my spleen meridian. Well, what that means is I trace it backwards first to clear out any reversing energies or blocked energies, and then I sweep it upwards in the way that it goes in its correct way. So I flush it out by going backwards, and then I feed it by coming up 3 times. Watch how quickly this can happen. This can happen faster than you can make yourself a cup of coffee. To flush my spleen meridian, I tap at the ending point, I come up to spleen 20, I go down, I flare in at the hips, down on the inside of my leg, and off my big toe. I'm tapping my big toe, sweeping up, flaring out at the hips, spleen 20, 21. Do it again, tap my big toe, up, flare out at the hips, up, spleen 20, spleen 21, tap, tap, tap. Nice and slow for the third one, out, up, rub spleen 20, tap 21. Wow, my spleen meridian has just been flushed. I don't need a cup of coffee anymore. So you can flush all 3 of those meridians. I find it especially useful for me to flush the spleen meridian. So you'll notice for this week, you do have your daily exercise is the CPR. I love that, clearing psychological reversal, because it does work with your meridians. Remember your 4 thumbs exercise from module 3 that also excites your meridians. And learning, now you know how to flush, you know how to trace these 3 yin meridians, and you know how to flush these 3 yin meridians. Remember to do your journal prompts. Remember to write as much as you can, because this energetic adventure you're on shows up in the most magical ways in your experience, in serendipities, in, well, we've had so many things happen with us as we're doing this journey with you and creating it. People that are coming, that are being attracted into our experience, the people that we need exactly to do what needs to be done next, show up at the exact right time. We have this knowing that we are exuding this positive energy that as we release these stagnant, these old, slower moving, stagnant, blocked energies, as we release those from our system, more light is coming in. More life force energy is able to move within our energy systems and throughout them and emit out into the environment around us, which attracts others of this higher vibrating frequency, or at least like-minded. Maybe I hope they're higher vibrating and they're like-minded. And by doing this, it is changing our lives, as I know it's changing yours and enhancing yours as we hear your stories every week. So until I see you in this week's treatment session, enjoy the adventure.